Yes, what's up? Welcome in. It's Hold My Banner. George Balekji, Ountae Campbell, back with you guys for a fresh week of plenty of NBA talk. We'll get into talking some Payton Pritchard. Can he potentially take the leap? But we're going to start with some Jayson Tatum making his press tour. Tatum 4's dropped. I like the look of him. A little Shaq-nosis look going on. Hey, I liked his shoes from the debut. I really like the Tatum 3s. Tatum 4s, though, those are sharp. Have you balled in any of the Tatums?
I have not. I
heard they're solid. I haven't.
I know Celtics Nation loves those shoes. I remember Travis and I were going around during the playoffs last year, and we were asking people about their favorite Tatum colorways and all this other stuff. Dude, people were rocking them. They were loving them. They were shouting out JB shoes. But, man, those Tatums, that whole line, I think Celtics Nation just loves wearing them out, like, you know, like regular everyday shoes. So, yeah, man, he's bringing off the court, on the court fashion, back off the court, which I love to see.
I'm all for that. I mean, that's what like you and I grew up on. You'd wear the LeBrons, you'd wear the Kobe's out.
Middle school.
Phone posits, you'd rock them out. Now everything's changed. You keep them on the court, which isn't the worst thing either. Big one, though, was Tatum going on First Take. And let's start with him saying, he basically was like, I haven't ruled myself out for the season. I'm not rehabbing 6 days a week for nothing. So we know that's what you get with Jayson Tatum is a work ethic, but he's saying it firsthand, going on First Take, going like, I'm not, like, don't count me out. Everyone's saying I'm not coming back. I'm putting in the work now, and I don't plan to do it for nothing. Like, he wants to be back playing basketball this season for the Celtics.
Yeah, and I'm excited that he's continuing to work towards that. I'm seeing all the narratives going around about Jayson Tatum and who he is and what he can be, and we're going to talk about the rest of that in the rest of the show. But you see guys like Kyrie Irving, who had ACL surgery this year, and how he's recovering better and better, and he's ahead of schedule right now. And you already see even Damian Lillard out in Portland. He looks like he's getting back into working out now. He's out there doing music and concerts and all this other stuff. You see all these guys who have been pegged as these yearly ending injuries or whatever, and they're all ready to play and come back a little bit earlier. I'm getting a little excited. It's a little early, you know what I'm saying? But I'm getting a little excited, counting my chickens already to see Jayson Tatum back in the Celtics jersey this year. It'll be exciting. I know they're announcing that they have some new jerseys dropping tomorrow, so maybe we get to see JT in them at the end of the year, man.
That would be interesting. Yeah. When he talks about coming back, again, it was like you never had to dispute his work ethic or question it. It's more of, and you know he wants to play.
Yeah.
To me, it should have to be the most green light of green lights because it is an Achilles. With Dame, like you said, he's out there doing his thing, and we talk about players coming back from ACL injuries. ACLs aren't what they once were. The injuries in general aren't what they once were. And a player like him, he's not super explosive. He can be. But again, he's so technically refined that he should be the same type of player when it comes to his overall game. Maybe a little bit changes in his overall athleticism. I don't want to rush him back, but it's good to hear that he's working back to get back this season. Obviously, Celtics Nation wants to hear that. Obviously, the team wants to hear that, including Jaylen Brown. And Brad Stevens, Joe Mazzulla want to hear that as well. We could see, though, depending how the regular season's ending, right? Because the date from what his dad said with the 8 to 9 month timeline, that'd be March, right? Of a return. Maybe it's an end of April return, right before the postseason. How many minutes is he playing? And it's like an acclimation back in. Then you give him another full off season. And then the beginning of the following season, he's back and going.
Yeah, you have to worry about the expectations, right? You know what I mean? You have to mitigate the expectations a little bit. I'm just excited because I don't think the Boston Celtics are going to be that great this year, possibly.
They're not going to be that great to the standard of the Celtics.
Exactly. So
if you, like, there are Portland fans out there that are like, shut up.
Right. So if we can
use
that time to build up continuity, build up the camaraderie of the team, the guys who we think are going to stay on after, you know, the trade deadline, at that point we'll know who'll be staying on. If they can kind of build some rapport with Jayson Tatum so we can get ready for 26-27, that's what I'm more excited to see. I'm not necessarily excited to see Jayson Tatum come in and play 30 minutes a game and lead us to the final. No, I'm not expecting any of that. I hope that isn't the expectation from any other Boston Celtics fan or anybody else in the building in that TD Garden Arena. I am hoping that everyone is just like, okay, this is great to have JT back, but let's get him ready for 26-27 instead of focusing on a playoff push this season.
I also like that he did talk about on First Take about, you know, the disrespect he can hear when it comes to being undervalued, underappreciated. And he said, I'm certainly not the only person that feels like they don't get enough credit. I think that's just the nature of being one of the best players in the NBA. I know there's a lot of fans out there that appreciate what I do. So I like seeing Tatum on First Take because first things first, He's a guy that doesn't like being on the camera, in front of the microphone, going on First Take, sitting opposite of Stephen A. That's a massive platform to be on, massive stage. Yep. He was also on the Today Show or Good Morning America this morning, one of those two. He's doing the Tatum Forza dropping media tour, especially with him not playing when the season tips off. But I love him talking about these topics on that show, especially saying that is what comes with being one of the best players in the NBA, where you're seeing confidence and him owning up to what he is, and obviously the awareness he has. If he knows how skilled he is, he knows how good he is. I like him being on a massive platform and talking about that.
Hey, I love him asking the question. You got to ask the question, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I just love him answering it honestly and candidly. That's all you can ask for.
All right, so let's get to Payton Pritchard. Love this video we saw on Twitter. Pritchard working out in the facilities, but had overseas and college players in his workouts guarding him on every rep he had. And it's not like it was just one guy one-on-one. Right. No, 3-4 dudes on the court. So as he's attacking to the rim, obviously shooting off the dribble, whatever it is, all his moves are, he's getting used to double teams, one-on-one ISO. And honestly, I think the best part is like full attention on him. This is a dude that won 6th man of the year. We talk about he can be the starting point guard when this season tips off, and when they're in the postseason, if they make it, this type of work helps them take that next leap, going from 9 points per game to 14, going from 14 in the 6th man to being a starting point guard.
Right, man.
And a bucket.
Definitely that, a bucket. You know, it's the question that comes up in my head is, can Payton Pritchard take another leap? Because we came into this offseason last year saying, all right, you know, Payton Pritchard was a big part of that team, blah, blah, blah. What can he do? All right, 6th man of the year. You know what I'm saying? That happened for him. Now it's like, all right, you did that. Great. Everyone knows you're the best guy off the bench. It's no more, okay, he's lightning in a bottle, blah, blah, blah. It was substance. A lot more consistent than the years that we've seen before, not just this lightning in the bottle every once in a while, right? Now it's like, okay, you're pegged as the guy who's supposed to be the starter. Can you bring it every single night against the ones, right?
Yep.
And when they're focused on you and they're honed in on you and they're locked in, like we see in those playoff situations, can you overcome your height? Can you overcome your strength and actually be a productive NBA player every single night? Everybody wants to be a starter in this league. Everybody does. But it's hard once you get there and you realize, man, dudes are really trying to figure out, how do I stop you?
Yep.
And now that he has that target on his back, he's got to perform. Can he take another jump while having that target on his back? That's the big question.
When he's on the floor and he has an all-around offensive game, especially off the dribble, like he could be the number 2 option offensively. It'd be JB1. It's him and Derek White. That'd be that 2-3. But Derek White has really blossomed as a catch-and-shoot type player from the outside, can attack the rim. But Payton Pritchard from all 3 levels on the floor can attack, off the dribble, catch and shoot, attacking the rim, obviously executing in the pick and roll, can defend as well. Yeah. He knows it's not just the starting that comes with it, but it's a responsibility on both ends of the floor. That's what's important. And this is a guy that averaged 14 points per game on shooting splits of 47, 40, and 84. Yeah. From 2-point field goal percentage, he was around 64% last season too. So inside the arc, he gets a job done. He's going to see a high volume of work. Yeah. And we could certainly see 14 points per game. He's a guy that can average 20 when he is relied upon like that on the offensive.
Yeah, I mean, and we saw it last year. The numbers upticked every time Jayson Tatum was out of the lineup for Payton Pritchard. He's going to get a full season of that. I have to ask you, though, you know, it's different when you're doing it on one night here, one night there.
You got to do it every night.
Teams are on a back-to-back, and they're like, oh, wait, Jason's not playing tomorrow. All right, well, let's figure out who we got to. You know, that scramble changes things up a little bit for you. Now, like I said, when people are locked in, they're penciling you in every day. Oh, yeah, 2024 Celtics, they were beating up on us, blah, blah, blah. They're down now. Oh, we got Payton Pritchard tonight. Oh, yeah, how can I go at this dude? You know what I'm saying? How do you think that's going to affect him this year?
It's when you get, especially again, if he goes into being the number 2 option, that'll be the big challenge. But then that's why he does that type of drill. Right. The defensive attention will be on him as the number 2 after Jaylen Brown. He's going to be a guy that initiates a lot of offense. Yeah. So he can get up to that 20 points per game. I think it'll be a learning curve. What I do worry, again, we think they can get into the postseason because how the East falls. I think that's where we'll see it affect them. Yeah. Everyone's got their legs under him to start the season. We know he's a bucket. He's been in the league for a minute, so he has that experience. But when it comes to late in the season, how they rely on him. When it comes to the postseason series as well. Yeah. And that's where it flips from guys on back-to-back, different scouts, everything. No. Now you have every assistant devoting their all into the scouting report on the opponent. Not one guy devoting himself to film. It's the entire bench, the entire coaching staff. That's where I'll think we will see it affect him. Yeah. This is a guy I have faith in that can be that number 2, can be a starter. But it's like anything when the increased role happens. How do you look in the back half of the season, towards the end of the season? And that's a one where I don't want to say it's going to be good, don't want to say it's going to be bad,
Right.
but that's when we're going to be looking for how does he perform at that point.
100%. I think the biggest thing about this whole entire transition for him is going to test how mentally tough Payton Pritchard really is. I think that's a huge highlight of who he's been. He's been resilient throughout his entire NBA career because there were times earlier on where he deserved more minutes, but this Boston Celtics team was just so talented at that guard position that he couldn't, he couldn't find his way onto the roster in those minutes. Now he has the opportunity to get those minutes, but we talked about the center position and how that's probably going to be some nights it's this guy, some nights it's that guy. I feel like with this point guard position, especially early on while Payton's trying to figure out how to be a starter in this league, you do have Anfernee Simons here. He does have to play minutes because we have to trade him or whatever the Boston Celtics think they have to do with him. They're trying to get off that contract. They've been making a lot of calls, so they feel like they need to trade him, which means you got to play him, right? So there's going to be opportunities early on in this season where Payton's not playing well. Anfernee is, and Anfernee is going to be pegged as a starter. What is that going to do to Payton's mental, how he thinks about the game when he's right? Exactly. Oh, I finally graduated, right? I made it.
A role he wants to be in too, because he could start on a lot of teams around.
Right. Yeah, and I'm finally here though. I'm finally the starting point guard of the Boston Celtics, right?
Yep.
And now Joe's like, hey man, last 2-3 nights haven't been great for you. We got this matchup that we like with Anfernee Simons against blah, blah, blah team.
Yeah.
Hey, Payton, is it cool if we take you off the bench tonight? Maybe Anfernee plays well for that. Maybe it's a 5-game stretch.
But then he falls back into being off that bench for a continuous amount of time.
And how does that affect you as a player, right? We haven't seen Payton in that type of scenario yet.
Yeah.
We've seen him in a lot of other different scenarios, and he's always been strong and solid. I'm not worried that he isn't going to do that. I'm just worried about seeing it. What is actually going to happen?
The roller coaster, what it could be, both in his role in the minutes. I'm not worried about him in that scenario, though, because that is a guy that really would got him to be sixth man of the year. Whatever his role was, whatever his minutes were, whatever the scenario, he was ready to come off the bench right away on both ends of the floor. So that's what I'm not worried about, because if he does go back to the bench, that's nothing new. And maybe that'll be part of Joe Mazzulla's masterclass. We could see this season navigating the backcourt, navigating Simons and Payton Pritchard, navigating Payton and Derek White on the floor at the same time, navigating all of that, especially with a much different looking front court and less shooting from the front court as well. Like, this offense entirely is going to look different. There's no more Al Horford. There's no more Kristaps Porzingis. Luke Cornett would shoot it from three time to time.
Not here.
And that's where my attention goes to. I think the Anfernee Simons effect is most interesting with everything on Pritchard. I have confidence in him as a starter. He'll be fine. But it will be, how do they work on the floor together, if they're ever on the floor together. That'd be a really small backcourt. And that'd be defensive liabilities.
100%.
But it would be more of, all right, who's getting what minutes where? And you bring in Simons, he's going to be a guy that wants to play.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. Payton Pritchard's the starter. He ends up being a starter all year. It goes as well as I think you and I think it's going to go, right? I think you think that it's going to be at least decent, right? What's the ceiling for Payton Pritchard this year? Like, what could that leap? Yeah, what could that leap look like? You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily have to be a stat line or per se. Maybe you're saying 3 to 4 more points than what he averaged the last year.
That's what I felt to.
All-star guy. Like, what's that look like?
I was thinking 18 points per game, similar shooting splits, maybe better from 3. But again, more minutes, more points will be more minutes. How will his legs hold up? And I have confidence in him and his condition. He would take it. But I think it'd be 18 minutes a game, 5 assists. So that's like, 1.5 more than he normally averages. And for the minutes aspect, I mean, we can see that uptick. And to your point, a fringe all-star. I have confidence in him in that type of player. Is he actually an all-star? I don't know, because all-stars popularity.
Tyler Hero was an all-star last year. So
right, because I want to say, like, how good would the Celtics will be, but Hero was on an all-star team. I think it boils down to 18 points per game, similar shooting splits, and still a good defender on the other end, and more of a facilitator type of point guard. Instead of come off the bench, be the sixth man, be a shooter, and be a scorer. I think it'd also be, hey, be a guy that can initiate the offense and play off of JB and Derek White.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think?
I think everything that you're saying is true. He was at 14 a game last year, 6th man of the year, obviously, averaging 3.5 assists a game. I think naturally he'll have to tick up to 5 or 6 assists.
Right.
You know, just being out there. The turnovers probably will pick up a little bit as the game speeds
Ball in
up,
your hand
and
more.
you know those guards, and you know people are going to look for ways to attack the Boston Celtics. And if he is the new guy, the weaker link, you know what I mean, they're gonna force him into situations where they're gonna try to speed him up, you know what I mean, and see if he's ready for that pressure. People are gonna throw a lot of different looks at him early on, and we're gonna find out if he's ready for it or not. Fringe All-Star, I'm not ready to go that far yet. I think you're right. It probably could tick up to about 18 a game. Without Tatum, he was shooting about 10 threes a game last year, and he's shooting like 7.5 this year, you know, on average. So, you know, I could see him shooting around 10 threes a game. I mean, this team is going to play incredibly fast. They're going to have to, you know what I mean? You got a Derek White, you got an Anfernee Simons, you got a Payton Pritchard out there on the
put the pressure on the
court,
team.
right? You got even a Boucher who shoots the three pretty well. They're going to have to shoot it. And especially with Kata in there banging and being inside, that's the only way that they're going to be able to space the floor. You know what I'm saying? By alleviating the pressure at the rim by shooting the three. So I can see him at 18 a game. I'm with that. I don't know if he's going to be a fringe all-star. I think it's going to be a lot of up and down before the trade deadline.
That's the thing, too. I mean, he could be a piece. Him, Sam Hauser, and Anfernee Simons.
Right.
Teams will have them on their radar when it comes to trade deadline.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's everyone in a Celtics uniform. Mm-hmm. The ones that I can't see being moved would be a Jaylen Brown. I think Pritchard on his contract is way too valuable for the Celtics to move on, especially as they navigate this. But if the return is there and they like it, you never know. But I don't think Pritchard goes. I know Missoula loves him.
Yeah, it would have to be one of those scenarios where we're talking about all the guys that we've talked about this offseason.
Yeah.
It's the move before the move. You know what I mean? You're moving Pritchard in order to get draft capital or something like that to go get a player.
It'd be like when they dealt Marcus Smart but kept Malcolm Brogdon. Everyone's like, what's going on?
Right,
Exactly. It was like, hey, there's going to be another move to come. And then Drew Holiday happened.
Right.
It would be like one of those. Get what you can in return. Smart got him Porzingis. Mm-hmm. Malcolm Brogdon went. That's what got them Drew Holiday. It would be a move like that. So we'll see. All right, we'll take a break here. I'll hold my banner. When we're back, another ESPN offseason survey talking about projecting to 2030 once again, the future of the Celtics, but also the future of Jayson Tatum, where he could be ranking in the NBA. We have that and more coming up after this break on Hold My Banner. Welcome back to Hold My Banner. You see the tweet on your screen. An anonymous Western Conference assistant coach says Jayson Tatum will be the best player in the NBA by 2030. Yes, in 5 years he'll be the best player. There's no one that has that shot profile. Sure, he's what everyone wishes they had. 6'10" guy who shoots threes, gets to the rim, and gets fouled. Also a guy that can facilitate the offense. Also a guy that can defend 1 through 5. See what he looks like on his return. This one is interesting where we were on the last episode.
Yep.
Talking about everyone projecting the team, what was it, over the next 3 years, right? Mm-hmm. And the Celtics like 12th best. And now we're seeing, all right, projecting Jayson Tatum 5 years from now, saying he'll be the best player in the league.
Yep.
What you have to include in that will be Cooper Flagg.
Yep.
AJ DeBonsa will be number 1 overall pick in the upcoming draft.
Yeah, or Darren Peterson, yeah.
Yes. SGA's 26, just like Tatum. Ant's 23, Cade's 23. Wemby is 21 right now.
Yep.
Right now, Wemby's 21. Giannis is 30 right now. Him at 35 the way he plays. I don't think he'll still be in that convo, but we'll see. By 2030 to be the best player in the league, when it feels like Tatum is great. He's so good. I don't think he'll ever be top 3, and I'm really excited to have this convo with you. But I also think that is how we're seeing the influx of international talent take over this league. And Wemby at 21 will just always be there, and I think that's the guy I would say would be the best player in the league in 2030 over Tatum.
Yeah, I mean, that's the shining star, right? That's the guy that's supposed to be. But, I mean, we live in this world where it's results-based. Like, yeah, Wemby has shown us flashes, but Wemby also hasn't shot over 33% from the three in his NBA career. He's under league average in that aspect. He's just not efficient right now. And, like,
but
maybe
5 years from now.
5 years from now, maybe he is. But also, we've all seen those players. We all have our favorites that were supposed to be the guy. And, oh, my God, this lightning in the bottle, and they just never got there. You know what I'm saying?
If this was 2020, you'd be like, by 2025, Embiid will be the best player in the world.
Right.
And he can't stay on the floor.
Right. And we've been waiting for Luka to win MVP for 6 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels like that. So it's one of those things where, Wemby has the path to be there, right? He has a team that's building around him. He has the coaching staff and the camaraderie in that front office to get things done for him. And he's got the talent, and he's got the height, and he's got the athleticism. He's got it all, right?
Yep.
But can you go out there and actually put it together? I'm looking at guys that I've actually seen go win playoff games, not maybe series, but win playoff games. And I'm looking at an Anthony Edwards, of course, right? I'm looking at a Luka Doncic, of course. I'm looking at the two young guys who we seem to always forget about when we talked about the young budding guys in this league. Can Paolo Banchero be the best player in the league by then? Can Cade Cunningham be the best player in the league in 5 years? Yeah, they got a shot. You know what I'm saying? Because they have all the same things that we're talking about with these guys. I love the Jayson Tatum shout because obviously I do think Tatum is going to be a guy that comes back from this Achilles injury and is still a top 5 player, top 10 player in the NBA. No question about that. But you can't forget about these young dudes who are young and hungry as well.
I think what he did as being a distributor, and again, a guy that the offense ran through him this year with the 6 assists a game, to go along with his scoring, if he gets back to being that 38% three-point shooter. And I think once he gets back from his Achilles, he'll be around the perimeter a lot more. I think that's how his game will go. Still attacking the rim, but more hang out from deep. If he becomes like a 41% from three type of shooter, gets his normal field goal percentage right around 49, 50%. The efficiency we've seen in like Kevin Durant's game, as his career has gone on, his shooting percentage overall has always increased. I think it could go that way. He can still defend, and he'll be 31 in 2030. But my eyes went to Ant Edwards, who would be 28. Cade Cunningham would be 28 as well, but I think Ant and Tatum will definitely be better than him by then. There's also the guys, too, like an SGA, same age as Tatum. Better shot, a distributor, too. Tatum's a better defender. So it's interesting. I think his efficiency definitely needs to increase. And that is definitely in his late shot making as well. Where how many times we've seen, you're watching a game, he has a ball, and a team will live with him doing the dribble, sidestep 3, and a bricks off. He has to develop that more, and I think he will, especially coming off this injury. What to do late in the shot clock, late in the game, from 3.
I want to talk about the Wemby situation just a little bit more, too, because when you're looking at a Wemby in this conversation, right, and we'll get back to Tatum, he's shooting 47% from the field right now. I don't like 7-footers that are, that can't score. Like, you are literally 7'5", Wemby. You got 2K breaking the game with your 7'4" builds out there, and people are complaining every single day because they're unguardable. That's the thing, though. I need you to be unguardable because what do we love about Nikola Jokic so much? 57% from the field. 57. And guess what? He does shoot the 3, but he's also 41%, and he's like, I'm cool.
And when he had to, he broke the Nuggets record for threes in a season. He had to be that guy.
And when he needs a bucket, guess where he gets to? He gets to the free throw line. He gets to the mid-range. He gets to a layup, a hook shot. He gets to somewhere that is extremely comfortable for him, where he knows he shoots over 60% from, and he's like, I'm going to go get this. I don't need Wemby shooting a 40-footer at that time. Hopefully over the next 5 years, he builds his body up so that he's comfortable getting down there. He says, hey, throw me the ball on the block. I'm going to throw up this hook shot. It's not sexy, but guess what?
It wins.
It wins.
Exactly.
And then I can say Wemby's there. But he has to continue to prepare. Maybe meeting with all these legends, he will figure all those things out. It's the same thing that you're asking of Jayson Tatum, and now I want to go back to him. Can he be really the best player in the league in 2030?
I just don't see it.
Here's the thing about the best player in the league. It's narrative-based, one. And we're talking about all these young guys, right? But they have these guys haven't won anything, right? The guys that we're talking about we're putting in that conversation because, we love what SGA did, but we don't know if that's going to last, what I'm saying?
If it's sustainable. If he has 3 rings by 2030.
With Jayson Tatum and JB, I like what I've seen. I mean, they've gotten the Eastern Conference Finals like almost every single year together. When they're together, if they are still together, which we are hoping for. You know what I mean? At that point, because Tatum will be making $71 million in 2030. So hopefully they're still together because the second apron doesn't blow this whole thing up. But if those two are together, we could be talking about a 3-4-time NBA champion at that point. Could be. I don't know if that's if we're going to get there. But we could be talking about a 3-time NBA champion at that point. Maybe a guy who did come back and push somebody to NBA MVP finalist or something like that, right? Or maybe hopefully win one. And then you are looking at it and you're like, man, Tatum really is the best player in the league because he is a winner and he's getting it done
Yeah.
in the individual counting stats.
It would have to be like a Jokic-type run, multiple MVPs on the way to 2030 for him getting another ring. Because you're right, being the best player in the world is narrative-based. I do think the undisputed right now, though, is Jokic.
Yes.
But then, yes, when it gets to 2, 3, 4, then that's when it starts to become narrative-based.
Yes.
Because you saw it go from Tatum being 4, sometimes 3 in the convo, to now it's, well, Luka's 2, Giannis 3, SGA leapfrogged Tatum, instantly 4th best player, maybe 3rd. And then you have Tatum at 5. People are like, oh, what about Embiid? Or what about this guy too?
Right.
I think Tatum, before this injury, was top 5. After the injury, we'll see.
Yes.
I don't think he'll ever
Top
be
4.
number 1.
Give him at least a 4. I need top 4.
Top
you know?
4.
Okay.
I don't think he'll ever be like number one.
Right.
And I think the narrative does play a part into that.
Right.
But it's also, again, of how skilled and how all around. Nikola Jokic, he controls the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's what stands out to me. And that's part 2 of where Tatum has to. He can take over on defense. He can take over late shot making. But he doesn't seem to control a game. Like, it can get away from him at times where Jokic controls everything happening on the floor. And now he's 7 foot. That's a big difference.
Right.
Can Tatum do that? I don't know.
100%. All right, we got to talk about this one. They're talking about who's the best player, American-born player in the league right now. They asked their panelists or whatever about this, and Steph Curry was voted the best American player in the NBA in the survey of 20 coaches, scouts, and executives via Tim Bontemps and ESPN. George, do you agree that not Jayson Tatum, because they did say that Jayson Tatum would be the going away favorite if he didn't get hurt this year. But do you believe that Steph Curry's the best player in the NBA right now?
American, you're taking Tatum's injury into account?
Yes.
I'd say yes, it's Steph.
Okay.
He's still got a shot to him. He still keeps the Warriors relevant,
Yep.
keeps them winning games in the playoff hunt, all that. Now he's had Draymond. This year he had Jimmy Butler around him.
Yep.
But it's a Steph on the floor, Steph off the floor. We've seen effect for the Warriors.
Yep.
For me, with the Tatum injury in consideration on this, to me it does come down to Steph or Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, so the article reads, before Tatum's injury, the question wouldn't have been on the survey at all, given the Boston Celtics superstar wing was coming off first-team All-NBA honors for a 4th consecutive season and won the NBA title a year ago. But Tatum's hurt.
And it's what he does on the defensive end of the floor, too.
Yeah.
And again, like as we were getting into it, Tatum was 4, then SGA bumped him. But like it was like comfortable, he's 5 or he's 4.
Yep.
Steph, where he is right now in the NBA, isn't that close to Tatum. And it's Tatum's all-around game defensively. How he's been as a rebounder this season. That's the thing. This guy's evolved his game, as we talked about getting more efficient.
Yep.
But what he had to be as a big and allowing him to play a small 5 role the last 2 years, how good he's been on the boards, how good he's been defensively, and a guy that has taken over and been the point guard for this team. He's the main ball handler, the main one that runs the offense.
Yeah.
Tatum, take the injury out of consideration. He'd definitely be the best American player right now. Then I would go Steph, then I would go Ant as my top.
I think I got to go give the nod to Ant.
Right now, with the injury.
With the injury, I have to give the nod to Ant as the best American player right now. Just because, I mean, you talk about the laundry list. I remember going through it. I mean, this dude is the boogeyman. He's whatever you want to call him, he's that. Because he went and slayed KD. He went and slayed Steph. He went and slayed Bron. I mean, these are the 3 pillars of American basketball. The guys we talked about during the Olympic run, these were the guys, the GOATs, the ones who were going to lead us to the promised land, and did. But Anthony Edwards, since then, has been chopping every single head off of each GOAT.
Yeah.
You have to give it to him at this point because he's not because I want to give it to him, not because I love the flashy dunks or the defense or the chirpiness of him. He's taking it, George. He's taking it with a mask on. He's coming in and taking it from the house.
And that's why in 2030, he could be the best player in the world, too.
Right.
Because he wants to put in that work and take it all, too.
Right.
That's a big part with Dan Edwards. He wants to be that guy. He wants a spotlight on him.
He's got to go win one, though.
He does. That's the thing, too, with you can be the best player in the world. Where are the rings? Right. Jokic has his. Giannis has his. Luka doesn't have his yet, so it feels. Now SGA has his. Now Tatum has his. That's a part with the NBA of the top guys that we see. They all got their rings, except for Luka. And maybe he gets his this year.
Yeah.
Never know. He's slimmed down. Skinny Luka. Maybe he takes that leap forward. If he can put together and his body doesn't fall apart in the postseason like it does every year because he's in better shape, then that could be another Luka we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, he's in there like Debo, Anthony Edwards. He's like, what bike punk, you know?
Yeah.
That's how he's pulling up. I got to give him his respect. All right, now let's talk about the last one. The NBA executives, coaches, GMs, whatever that were involved in the survey were asked about the worst and the best moves of the offseason. And some of them said that the Jrue Holiday move for the Portland Trailblazers was the worst move of the offseason. That was their take, not mine. That makes me think, though, George, does that mean that Anfernee Simons was one of the better moves of the offseason? Did the Celtics kind of fleece Portland in this deal? That's what I want to ask.
I do think they did because they got a good young guard that fits their system. Yes, he's a rental, but it was the business move that the Celtics did. Getting Jrue Holiday off the books, I did not expect it to be a return of a guy that can average 20, 22 points, shoot lethally from three, be a guy late in a game that you can have in the closing minutes of a game, take late game shots for you offensively. That was such a win-win-win trade for the Celtics. And for the Blazers, again, it was like timeline, what are you looking at? But they want Jrue in there to be the culture guy, to teach that team what it takes to be winning basketball and championship basketball.
Yes.
But it's a matter of Jrue Holiday, if he's on board and wants to buy into that role. I think he still wants to be in a winning situation.
Yeah.
He wants to be on a contending team. I think he still can demand that because he still has that caliber of play left in him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give this worst move of the offseason, though, because to me it's Bradley Beal. The albatross as a contract, I think that is definitely the worst one.
Okay, but the Clippers got it at a cheap deal. You know what I'm saying? So
I know.
You can't call that a bad.
I want to see what his role is going to be.
I love Bradley Beal at $5 million. You know
I
want
to see what his role is going to be and if he's going to buy in.
But at $5 million, I'm willing to take that risk on a former NBA All-Star. I agree. Yeah. He has to buy in.
He's former, but he's such a shell of what he once was.
I mean, you're probably
Let's see
right.
Now with the Kawhi and the Jimmy Harden how he looks.
100%. But the Jrue Holiday, Anfernee Simons deal, look, the way I look at this is I don't necessarily agree. Now, you know I love Anfernee Simons. I love what he's doing. But I have to look at this through the lens of what the Boston Celtics and how they view Anfernee Simons. And they've been calling people, trying to trade this contract before the season started. And it looks like they're going to have to hold on to this player through to the trade deadline because $27 million for a bench guard is a lot of money. Do I think he's a starting guard in this league? Yes, I think he has the offensive upside to be that guy. But right now, you're not starting him, Boston Celtics. At least that's what we're hearing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're going to tell another team like, hey, man, we're not starting this guy. We're going to start Payton Pritchard over him. Do you want him for $27 million, even though point guard is the deepest position in the league? When you're seeing all the contenders be like, well, second apron. You see the Rockets losing their guard right now, and they can't even go and sign another guard on their team because of it, right? The second apron, the first apron, and the luxury tax and all this other stuff is kicking teams' butts. So for the Celtics to hold on to this $27 million and be trying to trade it, it seems like it's not a great fit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think it's the business fit for them mostly.
Right.
Because you bring up that price tag, like you don't want that coming off the bench. If we have Payton Pritchard starting,
yeah,
the deal that he's on for the Celtics is such a bargain.
Yeah.
Compared to Anfernee Simons, 1 year, what is it, $27 million, right around what he cost?
Yep.
Because what would make sense would be like a Josh Giddey-esque contract. But yearly, that would be a pay cut for Anfernee Simons.
Right.
But what have you done? What have you won to be in that point?
Yeah.
That's where I did like the return, though, because I think that's a move before a move type deal. They get Anfernee Simons right around the trade deadline. Someone gets needy, and they want to capitalize on the window now before a repeater tax comes in. They can afford to pay that tax now.
And then they're not paying the full thing. They're paying $13 million instead of $27 million, whatever.
And for the Celtics, it's all about getting them off the books before the conclusion of this upcoming season.
100%.
Not before the beginning, before the conclusion. I think that works. I would say, though, to me, because I brought up Beal as the one that was like an addition. I think worst move of the offseason was the Bucks keeping Kuzma as like a top 3 guy for them around Giannis. We'll get into the preview with the Bucks later.
Yeah.
They need to do everything in their power to keep Giannis in Milwaukee, and how they've assembled this team to make sense. Getting Kuzma at the deadline last year didn't make sense. That was more of getting rid of Chris Middleton.
Right.
Of course, as we get into business and aprons,
right.
The Bucks don't have a plan.
Hey, let's get into it then.
All right, we'll take a break. When we're back, we'll be doing more previews around the league right here on Hold My Banner. Welcome back to Hold My Banner. See this Bucks basketball coming soon with Giannis Antetokounmpo. 34 days away, but that was from September 18. Who are we going to show? Ryan Rollins? AJ Green? Kyle Kuzma? We can show Miles Turner.
Yeah.
I don't even know what number he's wearing for the Bucks.
Who knows?
Is the Bucks team, it's just the volatility of them this season. could be top 3 seed in the East, could be completely in the lottery with no Giannis Antetokounmpo on the roster after the deadline. This is an interesting team, not just only how they can impact the East when it comes to the playoffs, but all of the NBA, because who knows where Giannis ends up if he is no longer a Buck after the trade deadline. So I'm excited to get into this one. I joked about who would be on that tweet, but they're starting 5, as it looks like right now: Ryan Rollins, AJ Green, Kyle Kuzma, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Miles Turner. I like the addition of Miles Turner.
Yeah.
I really do. I hate the first 3 names.
Yeah, I mean, literally, like, it's like one of those things, put your finger over the screen and cover Giannis from this roster, and you're looking at a team that should be in the lottery, early lottery.
You're looking at like one of the worst rosters in the NBA.
Yeah, 100%. And it's a shame that Giannis had to do the whole, I don't know if I'm going to stay here thing, I don't know, and then this is the best that they put out for him. Like, it's incredible to look at.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Porter is going to end up starting over Ryan Rollins, or at least over AJ Green. One of those 2 dudes are not going to be starting for this team, I assume, when the season starts. And the Cole Anthony addition is one of those where they're taking a swing, and hopefully Cole can be kind of a lightning in the bottle for them and figure it out, because Orlando's been one of those places where they have guards. Who's going to be the starter? We don't know. We were asking if Markelle Fultz should have been a part of the team last year because he was such a great asset to them the year before that, and he wasn't. So they had too many guards in that situation. And finally he has the opportunity to get out, and in a place that's desolate like the Milwaukee Bucks right now.
Yeah.
He has the opportunity to really show up and show us what he has. That's what I'm kind of excited to see this year. Do I think this Milwaukee Bucks team is a real contender? No. Will they make deals at the deadline? It has to be better than going to get Kyle Kuzma, like as you alluded to before the break. It has to be.
This is a franchise that has to go all out to keep Giannis.
Right.
There's a really steep price tag. And in the world of the second apron, it's really hard to navigate that.
Yeah.
That's a guy that's on the books for $54 million this year, and we know it always escalates up and up and up. And eventually they'll be around $60 million. I think he'll be a free agent, not after next season, but the season after as well. But this is also, they have to capitalize at his age, the style of basketball he plays.
Correct.
Guys had injury history. It's now or never to get your second ring with Giannis. It's now or never for them. I hate the construction of this roster. And let's just think about, too, how they ended up getting Giannis. He was a steal. They kept him a secret all the lead up to the draft, bringing him for secret workouts, telling him not to wear team logos in the airport, so no one found out about him. They get him. They make the right moves, though, with the addition of a Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
They had Chris Middleton, who they rescued from the G League as well. Pistons had him down in the G League. They get him over. Then he becomes what he is, which was a bucket. That was a special team. Pat Connaughton, all the depth there.
Yep.
It was like a perfect storm. But they also capitalized on when they were picking to hit on Giannis, where you don't normally hit in that spot. And again, he's a top 3 player. But he has every right to leverage it and going, I want another ring. He wants to be a winner. And this is a guy that's talked about wanting to play in New York. Please do not play for the Nets. If you want to play in New York, play for a serious franchise. I can't believe saying about the Knicks now, but that's what they are. Or he wants to go to the Warriors. Whatever it may be, he will find himself to a serious basketball situation. I really don't like the depth of this Bucks team at all.
Yeah, you're asking Miles Turner for a lot more than he's had to do over his entire NBA career at this point. You're asking him to be a rim protector and a scorer and a facilitator and all the things that Giannis needs on top of that, because it really is, it's just a 1-2 team. Like, we're back in the early 2000s. Like, they have a top guy and a second guy who's really good. But then after that, it's a bunch of, okay, can this dude show up for us in the playoff game? You know what I do like? When you start to look down at this roster, I like the addition of Gary Harris. I like the addition of Amir Kofi. These are dudes that are going to mean something for them in the margins, right? Giannis gets you there. He's good enough. He gets you there. Do you have the guys around him who can stick a shot? That's always been the question. Can these guys make the shots? Gary Harris, Amir Kofi, once again, Cole Anthony, Kevin Porter. You guys have beautiful opportunities right here, because I can tell you this. If it doesn't work out for you here, this could mean the end of your NBA career. So you have to get it going now. And Giannis he's gonna do what he can. Hopefully he stays healthy. That's the biggest hope right here, because he is gonna be tasked with a lot on him. And we've seen the way these guys' bodies are breaking down. We're seeing guys break down before the season even starts now. You know, guys are working out more and more and more. There's gonna be a lot asked of them, especially coming off of a Eurobasket run and seeing what he did with that team and how he elevated that Greece team to the heights that he elevated them to. There's gonna be a lot asked of him. Some of these dudes just have to take a little bit off his plate.
That's what the big part is. They have a lot of depth in the front court,
Yes.
but there isn't any separator.
Right.
Like there isn't a real.
100%.
It's a lot of good.
It's a lot of good players.
To okay.
Not a
There's
lot
no.
of great players. Right.
There's not even a really good player.
Right.
In the front court, and a guy like Andre Jackson, good defender. You want to say good 3-and-D.
Right.
He's an athletic freak and can be a rim runner, so he fits a very particular offensive system that you want to have. The shooting around him, and when you stay, like Giannis will get you there. Can you step up?
Right.
Can you shoot? Can you create your own shot? They don't really have those guys.
You brought up a great point. A lot of one-dimensional players on this team.
Right.
Either good at offense and not so great at defense, or great at defense, not really bad at offense. There isn't a lot of well-rounded people. One of those few well-rounded people that is going to have to stand up for himself, and hopefully he can stay off of whatever, eliminated 25 games for him last year. Bobby Portis has to be healthy, available, right mindset, all the off-the-court issues, I'm punching my teammates back to the early days. All that has to be gone. Bobby Portis has to be locked in on winning. If he can be locked in on winning, this team in the depleted East could be a 4 seed going into the playoffs.
Bob, when you talk about these guys too, it's something as well that if they show up for Giannis, wherever he ends up next, he's under contract this season, next season, then after next season, there's a player option. So he could very well go, I'm going to stick with Milwaukee, then I'm going to hit free agency.
Right.
Or he could go, trade me, get me to a contender, and then still I'm going to decline the player option and hit free agency.
Yep.
There are guys that can attach themselves at the hip to Giannis. Wherever he goes, he demands they come with him. Because that's how the NBA works as well. Bobby Portis especially being one of those guys. He's an energy dude.
100%.
That city loves him. Their finals run, I was covering them when I was in Wisconsin. He had that whole city in the palm of his hand.
Yep.
We'll see what Bobby Portis, but that's a big part too. I'm interested in Miles Turner. Do you think he fills that Brook Lopez role? Brook Lopez, the IQ he brought defensively, the shooting, the evolution of his position, the IQ he brought defensively, especially knowing how to play with Giannis, was very unique and very next level.
So I practiced in their practice facility before, and I bring that up to say, like, the spacing that they had when Mike Budd was the coach, obviously he's not the coach anymore of that team, he was putting guys out on the coach's hash, right? Like, that's where he wanted the spacing to be. Coach's hash, deep corners, and the guy at the top of the key. That's how their 5-out spacing was. And Brook Lopez really became a guy where, okay, yeah, I'm sitting at the coach's hash, but I'm not sitting out here to bring guys out here to drive it. And no. I'm sitting at this coach's hash because I'm letting it go from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Miles Turner's a great shooter. He shoots it on the line. If he can extend his range out a little bit further, a couple of feet past the line, and fill in that role, like you're saying, with Brook Lopez, he can really do a lot of the things that Brook Lopez does, because Brook came in a little bit older to this Milwaukee Bucks team.
Yeah.
Miles Turner is still young, athletic, makes that extra effort play. He can still do all of those things. If he can do that, he can be even better than what Brook Lopez was in Milwaukee. But they don't have the Drew Holiday. They don't have the Chris Middleton around him to really
He has to be the number
solidify
2.
that. Yes.
He has to be the number 2.
Yes.
Or exactly where Brook could have been the 3-4. It was Giannis, Chris.
Yes.
Brook was the 3 offensively.
Yes.
And then it would be Drew, but it would be that 3-4.
Yep.
And that was a team, again, with a lot of depth.
Yep.
I'll make sure with Miles Turner, I did like that addition.
Yep.
I would like it a lot more if there was a better number 2 on this roster.
Vegas has it at 42.5 real quick. Last year was 48 wins, over or under for the Milwaukee Bucks.
I'm going to go under. I don't see Giannis staying past the deadline.
Okay.
I want to go bold there, though. I want to have some fun with that take. What do you think?
I'm thinking under. I'm thinking 41, you're sweating it.
Do you think
You're sweating, like 41 and 41, like 500 team, you're sweating it.
in March is Giannis a Milwaukee Buck?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think he just, he loves to, I think he's a drama king. You know what I mean?
Kinda likes it.
He just likes the drama.
Well, one of my all-time moments was what he did with JB last season, and Jaylen Brown kind of called him out. He's like, he's a child. Like, he's just like, bro, grow up. With the fake, like, let's shake your hand, nah.
Exactly.
When Giannis, like, if Jaylen did that to him, he would all of a sudden be the guy running through the wall, like,
100%.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
100%.
Have fun, but, like, bro.
And his brother's on the team now. Like, he got his brother back on the team. Like, shout out to Nassus. They're going to be here, bro. We'll talk about the next team. Let's get to the next one.
What's a leap that Thanasis makes this year?
I don't want to talk about the Nassus.
We'll
Let's
take
talk
a break.
About the next
when
team.
we're back, we'll talk Indiana Pacers. Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Haliburton talk. You guys know. We'll bring it to you right now, right after this break. Welcome back to Hold My Banner. 31 days until the season tips off. This one was September 22nd.
That was yesterday. Yeah,
That was yesterday.
First
So
day
30
of fall.
days.
First day of fall for them yesterday. That's what
Man, like the sweater.
Oh, man.
30 days until the NBA season, but we'll talk Reggie Miller in 31. Pacers coming off a historic season they haven't seen since the Reggie Miller days. No Tyrese Haliburton this season. Another team that determines so much going on in the East. Without Hallie, though, I still like the team construction. No Haliburton, no Miles Turner.
You do.
They have a lot of buckets. They're going to play really fast. They're going to be able to catch teams in the regular season. Postseason, I don't like them in a 7-game series. But I can see them still making it in just because of Rick Carlisle and their offensive capacity.
Who was their starting center? Isaiah Jackson, Tony Bradley. We watched those minutes last year.
I know.
The Tony Bradley minutes last year were okay.
I know.
At best.
Are they going to get stops? No.
Jay Huff, James Wiseman. Which one of these dudes are going to start?
Playing the 5?
Like, I love Jay Huff, and I love what he did in the vacuum for the Memphis Grizzlies
That might be
last
the
year.
first time I've ever heard that in my life.
I love Jay Huff.
Yeah, no disrespect to Jay Huff.
Come on, Virginia legend, dog.
This is a Jay Huff friendly podcast.
I'm just saying. He
I was a big
brings,
London Piranhas fan back in the day.
Okay,
Another
then,
UVA
you know
guy.
what I'm saying?
Amazing how they just live rent free in our heads. Okay.
Anyways.
Pro UVA pod.
He comes in, he brings a lot of energy and all this other stuff. But, I mean, we talk about the Boston Celtics and their ability to space the floor and all this other stuff and how they lost, Jayson Tatum and Al Horford. What do you think losing Tyrese Haliburton and Miles Turner is going to do to this roster?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Shrinks it.
I don't think that this roster is big enough to play in this NBA. I don't think they're strong enough to play in this NBA. I think the speed that they have and the pace of play and the coaching that they have can elevate them.
That's what it is for me.
But then I have the same questions about that we were talking about earlier with Payton Pritchard for Andrew Nembhard. How does he look being the premier guard now without a Tyrese Haliburton standing next to him? It's Ben Mathurin ready to take the leap that we've been expecting for a couple of years.
Aaron Nesmith needs to step up more too. TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, Pascal
Ben Shepherd,
Siakam.
Jarace Walker. I mean, we talk about lottery picks. Like, what has he been doing? He's been sitting there watching. It's time for him to take a leap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with this big man situation following the way that it is, right? Pascal Siakam has to stay healthy in order for this team to be successful. It's that simple.
I just think with the depth they have in the front court, the amount of speed, the amount of buckets they do, I think this will end up being a team they can win one way and one way only. Speed, shooting, coaching.
Yes.
And with the depth that they do have, when they go to that second unit, it's going to be the same style. So in a way, it could be relentless. And that's why I think they'll catch teams in the regular season. You talk about second half of a back-to-back, end of a long road trip, out in the Midwest, when you can't scout them all the way so the offense can catch them as well, and you have all these scores and all these buckets. They have a lot of guys that create their own shot, a lot of guys that can finish.
Yeah.
Yes, without Hallie, yes, without Miles Turner. It changes a lot, especially around the rim and defensively. I just think it's the speed and the scoring. Can they get stops? But who can keep up? In the NBA, I think most teams can, but I think this is a team that, with the depth of scoring they have, I still like them in the regular season just because of the coaching, and especially with Nembhard, along with Aaron Nesmith, what they can do as well. That's why I think they, like, for losing your best two players, they have a really good third, fourth, fifth best option.
At the point of attack, they're going to be scary. Nembhard and Nesmith have been those guys. They're the best defensive backcourt in the league. You know what I mean? At this point, I'll go out there and say it. I can't find another two who are better than them. But can they bring that offensively firepower every single night? We saw it, you know what I mean, in spurts. They did it. Nembhard did it for a full playoff run. I'll give him that respect. You know what I mean? Nesmith was kind of a guy who, we did it one game. The other game, we didn't have it. We did it another game. I don't need that from them. They have to be consistent because here's the thing. Pascal is not a guy who's going to give you 30 a night. He's just not, right? He'll give you 20 a night. 30 is a stretch. You know what I'm saying? This team has to rely on guys like even a Johnny Furphy, who did a lot of great things in Summer League this year. I don't know if you were paying attention to what he was doing in Summer League, but, man, he was setting the world on fire. He has to step up. Everybody has to do a little bit more and chip in a little bit more. This is going to be one of those head coaching jobs that is going to have to really put this team over the hump. But personally, I can't see this team being any better than a 6 seed going into the playoffs.
It's a playoff berth. They're your two best players from last year. What's the over-under on their wins? What does Vegas have?
Let me double check. It's right here. They got 37.5. Yeah,
I'll take the over. I think they win 42 games.
Yeah, they won 50 last year. I'm thinking I'm going to take the over. I'm going to sweat it, though. I think they're going to, just
40 win team?
Yeah, probably. Just under Milwaukee. Milwaukee will be 41.
Yes, it's Giannis. Yes.
Yeah, just under Milwaukee. So, 40. Over, but close.
If I stick with my Eastern predictions, Giannis is wearing a Milwaukee Bucks uniform, he's likely out of the East after the deadline. That would help out this Indiana team a ton.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going. A little back and forth. I just really like the depth of this team. Then in the playoffs, it's also too though. I could say, well, this is how they do it. This is what they're going to run. You got to do that for 82 games. That's a lot.
It is.
And then when they get in the playoffs, they got to keep it up. That's a lot. I think they get bounced in the first round, but I think it's still a playoff.
And this was a team going into January that did not look good. You remember, they were like, ugh. I remember I was at the game where Austin Reeves dropped 40 on their head when LeBron and Luka didn't even play. You know what I mean? I was there. There was times where it didn't look good. So you got to prepare for that. But look, I do want to say this before we get out. This is our last episode of Hold My Banner with George Balekji for a little while.
Oh, man.
George has been absolutely amazing on this show. He has taught me so much over the run of this Hold My Banner, and I appreciate every single episode that we've done with him, from Christmas episodes to
always fun
season previews to laughing and joking with me about outfits and making fun of music records and, some of these guys that we talked about, Pascal Siakam, Jimmy Harden, have been made fun of so much. But in all seriousness, George, I thank you so much.
Appreciate you, my man. This is a ton of fun. This is something that goes back to 2016.
Yeah.
For you and I, obviously reunited from our days in LA. I'm so proud of you. You've done such a good job with the show. You've taken the ownership. You put in a lot of work, doing a lot of other things here at Nesson, so you absolutely crush it. Love talking hoop with you because this has been a joy for me. You've made it a lot of fun, especially over the last month. So thanks for always having me on, bro. Thank you for everyone that always made us a part of our day. I'll still be on chat the rest of the week, and then I'm done here at Nesson after Friday. But it was an honor doing Banner with you, my man, and doing this last episode with you as well.
Yes, sir.
Keep up the good work. I'm excited to see where you go. You're not done with me either. We'll still
see you. We'll see you in the future, George.
We'll see you guys. He'll see you guys on Thursday. I'll see you guys Wednesday and Friday on chat. This is it for Hold My Banner today. Catch you guys.
Deuces.